Hello, everyone. This is Francis. He's going to help me get my TBR started.
Hi, Francis.
Yeah. Francis is a special needs kitten. So, he's very special. He has 3 feet instead of 4. So he has a little stub in place of his 4th foot. And he has a brother who has the exact same injury. It was a complication with their birth that left both of them with 1 foot missing. So they're interesting kittens. They're both Siamese. They're adorable. And they also have ringworm they're recovering from, and they all caught a cold. So, yeah, he's helping me with my video. So this is going to be a quick, and I mean quick, like not an hour, TBR video. Because tomorrow morning, bright and early, is Dewey's readathon. At this point, a lot less than 12 hours from now. So, yeah, I have a TBR. Am I going to follow it? Do I follow TBRs? I don't know. Sometimes I do. But I did make one, so I'm going to put Francis away, and then I will show you guys what I would like to be reading tomorrow. It's more than I can finish in 24 hours, but it gives me some options. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and I've got my books stacked up right next to me, so I can show you guys quickly what I've gathered up. As folks in the U.S. probably know by now, tomorrow is a big No Kings protest day, for which I've seen the wearing of yellow is supposed to be solidarity color of some sort. I don't know what verbiage everybody's using, but wear yellow. I don't know how safe the protests are going to be depending on where you're at, so be careful. If you're going to protest. I will be at home reading or at work because I do have a shift at the bookstore tomorrow. But I have some books that are kind of thematic that I would like to finish, partly so that I can write up reviews of them, basically blurbs for them in my history section at the bookstore. So the more of them I finish, the more can go on to be somebody else's books at the bookstore. So, here's my TBR. I won't finish all of them in 24 hours. I might finish a few more by the end of the weekend, but we'll see. I have 1932, FDR, Hoover, and the Dawn of a New America by Scott Martell. George Washington's Secret Six, The Spy Ring That Saved the American Revolution by Brian Kilmeade and Don Yeager. The Teapot Dome Scandal, How Big Oil bought the Harding White House and tried to steal the country. The Age of Acrimony, How Americans Fought to Fix Their Democracy, 1865 to 1915. There is a bit of a theme on these. Intellectual Morons, How Ideology Makes Smart People Fall for Stupid Ideas, by Daniel J. Flynn. That one might be a light read. I'm not sure. It's not really history per se, but my area would be the next best area for it since it doesn't fit the dates for the political science section. So yeah. I don't know if I'm going to stock that one. It depends on how well it is researched. If it has a lot of sources, is well backed up, and is at least part history, not just an argument. We'll see. Some of my reading is that kind of stuff where I have to see how far it leans into history, and if it's really not history, it doesn't get to be in my section. Anyway, Patriots, The Men Who Started the American Revolution by A.J. Longueuth. I have to read this one. I don't know if I'll finish it this weekend, but Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. That is the book that inspired Hamilton the musical. So I have to read it. This one, up until this week, was not selling very many copies. And as of the whole indictment of John Bolton thing, we went from way too many copies to we have one left in the store at all. So if the indictment was meant to harm sales of the book, which I'm sure that wasn't the whole point, but it failed miserably because now everybody seems to be going out and looking for The Room Where It Happened by John Bolton. And of course, one of the song titles in Hamilton is The Room Where It Happened. So I want to read it because of that reference. But we'll see. A lot of people are reading it right now, though. If you're looking for a nonfiction book that's kind of a buddy read because everyone's reading it, this would be one of those. American Creation by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Joseph J. Ellis, who won for Founding Brothers. But this is American Creation, another American Revolution story. Red Scare, A Study in National Hysteria, 1919 to 1920, by Robert K. Murray. This is an older one that I got from a free shelf when I was still in academia. It's been a while. I need to read it. The Unexpected Spy. And they put a sticker on the subtitle. Let's see. From the CIA to the FBI, My Secret Life Taking Down Some of the World's Most Notorious Terrorists by Tracy Walder. It's a memoir to go with my collection. First Family, Abigail and John Adams by Joseph J. Ellis. Same author as the American Creation book. I might have a copy of Founding Brothers. If not, that may be something I'll bring home later and read after these guys. I am trying to read a lot of the award-winning authors and their books. Liberty's First Crisis, Adams, Jefferson, and the Misfits Who Saved Free Speech by Charles Slack. Without Precedent, Chief Justice John Marshall and His Times, which I am curious about what it looked like establishing the Supreme Court and how that works when there was no precedent. Because so much of what I know of Supreme Court procedures involves looking at precedent. If there isn't any, because you're in the first Supreme Court, how does that work? So this is one biography that I'm curious about. So we'll see if I get to this one this weekend, but I wanted to get to this one this year for sure. 1920, the year of the 6 presidents, which so much reminds me of Doctor Who episodes with more than one Doctor Who. Anyway, this one is by David Petrusha. There's no extra K. Petrusha. And the presidents on the cover are Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Herbert Hoover, and Woodrow Wilson. So, should be a fun one. American Sphinx, the character of Thomas Jefferson by Joseph J. Ellis. At this point, the only one I don't have is Founding Brothers. And I don't think I have it currently here. I'm sure I have at least one copy in my section at the bookstore. So I might swap some of these out and bring that home. We have The York Patrol by James Carl Nelson. The real story of Alvin York and the unsung heroes who made him World War I's most famous soldier. So a little bit closer to our time period. But I guess the 1920 book would be after that still. So most of these are 1920 or earlier. And then Team of Rivals, The Political Genius of Abraham Lincoln by Doris Kearns Goodwin. This is the book that I was featuring in my section. I was happy to see that 2 of the 4 copies I had up there sold. So featuring a book is working. But this is the book. Doris Kearns Goodwin is an award-winning author, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. I don't remember for which, but she has quite a few other books. She has one about Truman, and I think she did one on Kennedy, but she did a lot of them, and they tend to be all fact. I may have one short book by her. So this will be my first time reading her. I think I have... Hold on, I think I have one more. Let me grab. I was right. I do have one more by Doris Kearns Goodwin. I'll add it to the stack. I don't know if I'll get to it this weekend because it's fat. The Bully Pulpit, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, and the Golden Age of Journalism by Doris Kearns Goodwin. And I don't know if this is the one she won the Pulitzer Prize for. It might be. Anyway, so that is my TBR. There's a theme. And no, I'm not just going to read these books. And I do have some shorter things. I have On Tyranny by Thomas Sinclair. That doesn't sound right. Snyder? Might be Snyder. If I read it tomorrow, it'll be in a video. I'll put it that way. It's short. One of my friends was reading it this week as well, so I had to include it in the stack. I have a few other books that I might read bits of. I plan to do some daily history sort of posts. I haven't really decided when I'm starting that, but I collected a few books that were too damaged to sell but useful for that I'm going to, start poking at. But yeah, so it's a bit of a theme. I might do murder mysteries for the planned sprints because Dewey's does a sprint for the first hour and for hour 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. So I do like to switch out to a different book for those. And in the past, I've actually done where I switch to a short book and try and finish it in that sprint or at the tail end of the next one or, that kind of thing. So I might still do that with murder mysteries to break up the history theme. But the majority of my readathon, if I stick to my TBR, is going to be history. So it should be fun. But yeah, if you're doing Dewey's readathon, let me know. As I mentioned in my ridiculously long video that I posted yesterday that you may not have had an hour or more to watch, I am stepping back from being the lead admin for Dewey's. I will still be doing the day of running the readathon that I always do for this one. But my life is getting more crazy. I'm trying to work out how to move in the next 8 months. And I am poor, as all my regular followers know. Moving is going to be quite the stunt. Not so much moving my stuff, but finding some place to live, where I want to go, and finding a job, all that kind of stuff. Where I'm aiming for is some place that has way better public transportation. Where I live now, public transportation might as well not exist as far as any sort of functionality for me. It stops running at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. How do you get home from work if the bus stops right as you're getting off work? Yeah. So I've had a really hard time finding a job here because transportation does not work for me here. And my disabilities add up to me not really being a driver. So if I move to a place that has good public transportation, even if it is a higher cost of living, technically, it's a lower cost of living for me because I can actually find an income and pay for stuff. So it's going to be tricky getting there. Once I'm there and can get set up so that I have what I need, this time I will appreciate living someplace like that and not move somewhere else. I'll put it that way. Yes. So it's not a place I haven't lived before. I have friends there. I have connections. And it will probably happen. Maybe not by my goal, but I'm aiming for summer. So with all that going on, I'm just not in a headspace to be also remembering, oh yeah, I have to set up for a readathon. And yeah, so this one was already a little shaky. I didn't really get to everything when I wanted to because I was already way too distracted. And there's been things adding up to needing to move as well. There's a reason that I'm aiming for moving as soon as I am. And I have leeway. I'll be here as long as I need to be, but it would be really nice to be settled next year. So, yeah, so I'm still going to be running the readathon for this coming readathon starting tomorrow morning, disgustingly early, 6 o'clock in the morning for my time zone. It's gross, but it'll be fun. Yay. And probably I will still be an admin in the April/May readathon. We haven't set a date yet, so it'll be probably one of those 2 months. But we fluctuate a little bit on that depending on people's schedules. And I will probably be helping set that date. But just because I don't know what my internet situation is going to be next year, I'm not committing to being available for the 3 readathon dates next year. I'm hoping that I'll still be here for the spring readathon. Beyond that, I would like to be moving or moved by the next one after that. So we'll see. And I will probably still be involved as an admin in Dewey's, even, after I move. Just maybe not in charge. I've been doing it for a while. And I'd like to see what somebody else can do with it. And I have a readathon that I want to put together, like a month-long competitive readathon sort of thing, based around literary fiction and crocheting. And I guess knitting is okay too. So for 2027, I have an idea. I want to make it happen. And I have some friends that can help. So I may be focusing more on that and on my channel, and just helping out with Dewey's when I can, and maybe doing the day of stuff because very few people do the full 24 hours. Yeah. Anyway, you have my TBR. You have some idea of what's going on and where I'm at with respect to all the Dewey stuff. And I will be doing some more videos coming up. I'm doing a dinner theater thing with the bookstore that I work in that is going to include my making a series of kind of crime fiction videos talking about different subgenres and tropes and things in crime genre. So watch for that. I've committed to doing at least one that's not public for the event itself. And I figure I might as well make some more that are public. So, yeah. After Dewey's, things might happen. It could be exciting. Yeah. So I will see everybody tomorrow. I will probably do the posts every couple hours, updates, like I did the last time. Those are fun. People do watch them. More people than I thought would. So I'm going to keep doing that because I enjoy it and I actually do those. I don't always do the updates elsewhere. So, yeah. Get good sleep if you are in a time zone where there is sleep between now and the readathon starting. And I will see everybody at the start of the readathon. It should be exciting. Bye, guys.